So yeah, so you see this old guy. He's handing out candy. He's all bandaged up from being attacked all night by Sam, and and then and then he gets a knock at the door, and it's all the dead kids. They've come back for their revenge, and then the movie ends. And it's a hell of a movie. It's really really good. I recommend
It
anybody
was.
to watch this. I know among horror fans this one is really well known, but if you're maybe like a younger person, like Donnie's age or something, and you didn't really grow up watching this movie, I recommend trying to find it and watching it. It's really really good. And I know we kind of gave away a lot of stuff, but there's so much more in there that I don't want to give away. It's really really cool.
I think my favorite part was after Sam, who was my favorite character by the way, had finished like fucking him up, and then he goes to the door, and there was the little kids, and he was like, "Oh, that's a really good mummy costume." It's just like,
Oh yeah, because the old guy's all bandaged up, so then they're like, "That's
yeah,
a really good mummy costume." Yeah, that was cool.
yeah.
I'm trying to think of my favorite part. So, for those of you listening, I'm a huge Halloween fan. I build a haunted house every year for Halloween, and this movie just puts me in that Halloween mood. It's like when you watch Nightmare Before Christmas, or Charlie Brown, the Great Pumpkin King, or like just any classic Halloween. Uh, I so this is kind of like this dates me a little bit, but in the '90s, McDonald's used to if you bought a certain like a couple of Happy Meals, I think something like that, or maybe you paid extra. You got this videotape. There was a VHS tape called Ronald McDonald Scared Silly, and it was like all these kids who would hang out and eat McDonald's together or whatever. It was like a cartoon. Well, they all would go into this haunted house and with Ronald McDonald, and there was all this like Halloween like spooky stuff that would ensue, and it was really fun. So all the kids in the neighborhood, they knew I was obsessed with Halloween. We'd all watch horror movies together and stuff. In my neighborhood growing up, we'd all gather around my TV and we'd watch this movie. It just I don't know. Trick or Treat really gets you in that Halloween mindset. It's not just a horror movie because it's really not a horror movie. It's a comedy, really. It's like a dark comedy, wouldn't you say? It's funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I also liked how they had like some parts of it was like kind of like comic. Remember? That was like some of the parts. It was like
Yeah.
later that day or 24 hours before, like kind of comic-y. I really like that. That was my
Yeah.
like
They
favorite
they did
like
like
part about it.
they did like comic book transitions. So it was like
Yeah.
yeah, every time it would like transition to a new story, you'd see like pages of a comic book. So um, another thing for those of you maybe who are younger listeners, there was a movie in the '80s by George Romero and Stephen King called Creep Show, and it was a callback to Creep Show because Creep Show was kind of like it was like a paying homage to the old EC horror comics from the 30s and 40s and 50s. So that's what this was doing, and it was really brilliant how all these stories intertwine. I mean, it's just so cool how they all connect together. And I know this was written by the director as well. This was written by Michael Dougherty, so really, really, really talented person.
Yeah,
Trying to think
I
of my.
give this a 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah, definitely a 10 out of 10. This is the perfect movie for Halloween time. Like if it's like October 27th and you're like, I just want to watch a good scary movie to get me in the mood. Like this is the one. This is fun. This is a good time. And it's only like it's not even an hour and a half long. I think it was an hour and 22 minutes. It goes by quick. It's really
Yeah,
fast flowing.
it was pretty fast.
You'll recognize a lot of the actors in there. They got a lot of like famous people in there, especially Anna Paquin. This was like she was in the like her prime at
So
this point because
gay.
True Blood was out. I think True Blood was out at that time.
True
Um,
Blood, maybe it was. I don't know, but I
yeah,
like
because
that
I'm
they had like the vampire thing, and she played Sookie in True Blood, and like she was into vampires, so I kind of fucked with that.
oh yeah, oh I know you love vampires.
Vampire. Period.
I'm trying to think of my favorite part though. I like the story a lot of the kids on the bus. That just creeps me out. I guess like especially the old masks they were wearing, like how they had the old paper mache masks on, and Oh, those are so cool from back in the day. I love looking at old Halloween pictures. Um,
Yeah, they were kind of creepy. Like I liked them, but they were kind of creepy. They, especially the
Definitely.
clown one. That's the one that kind of
Oh my
scared me
God.
the
Well,
most.
that was creepy too because I think he stuck his foot out and tripped the bus driver at one point when he was trying to
Yeah,
go
when
grab
he
the
was trying
wheel.
to. Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
He
and he did it
did.
with
He
like no
surely.
emotion. It was pretty spooky. A lot of the early 2000s horror, like this is all the stuff like when I was in high school, it was coming out. It's really good, and I feel like it's being overlooked now. So I'd like to take a look at a bunch of movies from this time period, if we can. Kind of like Wrong Turn, High Tension, Martyrs,
I
which is my
love
favorite
Wrong
movie.
Turn.
Oh yeah, Wrong Turn's a good one. I'm trying to think of like my favorite part. That yeah, I guess it would be the kids and the bus, and I like how like stories with kids always hit me right in the heartstrings too, just because I just like I love when I was a kid, man. Like I remember like in the 90s like going trick or treating, every kid in the neighborhood would get together, we'd all compare. And then I went to Catholic school when I was really really young. So we had the day off after Halloween. So because it was All Saints Day. That's what they called it. And that's kind of a I guess it's like a Catholic thing, but I know in other cultures, like it's there's All Souls Day, All Saints Day. Um, and I mean, we should do a show on the history of Halloween one night, and I think people would like that. There's a whole lot more to the story because Halloween is the day when the veil is thinnest between the living and the dead, so anyway, we used to stay up late on Halloween night after we'd go trick or treating, and we'd stay in our costumes all night, and we'd always have a sleepover, like all our friends, and man, it was just the coolest. I just being a kid was fun, then, and I think that's why I like that story the best. Just reminds me of like being a kid going out trick or treating.
I
Uh,
kind of liked the part where the principal was giving the little fat kid the candy, and he was like, this is why you always check your candy. Because that just reminded me of like, we weren't allowed to eat any candy while we were walking around. We literally had to wait till we went home, and then my mom had me and my sister dump out all of our candy, and then she would go through it. And then, like, I would separate all of my candy by like lollipops, Tootsie Rolls, and like like Snickers, Reese's. I would separate everything by its own, like count everything,
Dude, I would
and
do the
then me and
same
my sister
thing.
would trade all the candies that we didn't like because I knew she liked certain candies, and we would trade.
Oh, definitely, dude. Oh man, that reminds me of sitting in my mom's house. Yeah, my mom would check all the candy first, and then me and my friends. I was never even a big candy person growing up, so I ended up giving a lot of my candy away. I just like going out and dressing up. It was fun. Um, what was so like? I have some favorite costumes of mine from when I was a little kid. Um, what were some of your favorite costumes that you dressed up as?
So I did. When I was a kid, I literally had one costume, and it was a witch. I continued to be a witch
Oh
until I was like
yeah,
10. And then I was like a vampire businesswoman. That was kind of weird.
a vampire
And
businesswoman.
then
That's awesome.
I went as a unicorn,
Okay,
and then I did like a nerd, and
you
I
are a
think
nerd.
that's really it. I am a nerd, so that wasn't easy. That wasn't hard because I already had the clothes in my room.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. I didn't dress up last year. I literally just like went as myself.
I'll give you a couple of my favorite ones from when I was a little kid. So, I remember in 1996, I went as Jason Voorhees, and the only picture I had like cutouts and magazines and stuff that I would like take when I was a little kid, and I'd watch some of the movies, but the only picture like I really had that I remember all the time was the cover of the Nintendo game for Friday the 13th. So I dressed just like that, and I had this fake axe because he had an axe on the cover of that, and I had a plaid shirt on, and my dad had got me a Jason mask, and we put blood on it, and then my dad walked around in the same plaid shirt, and he goes, "I'm going as Jason's dad." So that was really fun. I was like, "I'm Jason." He'd go, "I'm Jason's dad." Um, and then in '97, I was Ghostface from Scream. And that was really cool because the movie had just come out the year before, so it was like it was pretty. I had a cool costume, man. Um, and then I think in '99, no, I think it was 2000. I was I was really obsessed with cows growing up. Cows were always my favorite animal, still are. And I had this sweater, this green and red sweater, and a hat, and my Freddy Krueger glove, and I dressed up as a cow mixed with Freddy Krueger, and I was Freddy Cougar, and I won actually a couple costume contests and stuff. That was pretty cool. Yeah, yeah,
Oh
man.
my god.
Yeah, it was a good time. Um, I'm trying to think of some of my other favorite costumes. I don't know. I had some cool like I had so my mom would let me go to a Halloween adventure like the day after, and I'd get to get everything like 50% off to 75% off, and we'd try and go buy like props and stuff. Because even when I was a young kid, I used to go set up like scenes in the yard and stuff. So now that I'm older, now I build like actual haunted houses. Um, Trying to think of some other cool costumes I was. I don't know. I remember when those masks came out in the '90s, where like they hide your face completely. It's just like a black screen in front of your face. Those were always creepy. I like that. Man,
Hmm.
good times. Good times.
This is like, so, um, shout out to Zaina, first of all, because she recommended that we watch Trick or Treat. That's my bestie. And I'm gonna, like, so this one year I was at Zaina's house for Halloween, and
Hmm.
Chipotle was doing a thing where if you come dressed up in a costume, you get like a free meal, basically.
Oh,
And
nice.
so, us not having any costume, we like ransack her house and we dressed up as like construction workers. We have like the stupid ass helmets on and like
The
fucking
hard
big
hat?
ass plaid shirt. Yeah, we had that hard hat on. Big ass plaid shirts that did not fit us because we were both so skinny, and like shoved them into our pants. And then we were like, no, okay, like let's not do that. We're gonna. I put on like this turtleneck that Zaina had. So fucking ugly. It was like fucked up tie dye. And I was like,
Oh
okay, I'm
shit.
gonna wear this and I'm gonna be like Mr. Freeze or whatever from The
Mr.
Incredibles.
Freeze.
And then we were like, yeah.
Oh,
And then
I thought you meant
we were
Mr.
like,
Freeze
no,
from
like let's
Batman.
just go with the construction workers. And so then we drive all the way. I don't know if she drove or if she drove, excuse my vocabulary. Frozone, yeah, not Mr. Freeze, Frozone, my bad.
Oh,
Um
Frozen.
I don't remember if she had driven us or her mom, but she, of course, because she's greedy, she had no problems being embarrassed about what we were wearing. She got her free food. And I was like, no, like, what if they don't accept our costume? Like, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to wait in the car for you. And I was so upset. That still gives me anxiety to this day because I wanted that fucking Chipotle so goddamn bad. So, shout out to Zay.
All right, I guess that's it for tonight, for tonight's movie. You want to tell everybody where they can find us?
Yeah, so follow us um, at Slasher Stereo on Instagram and YouTube. My friend, my buddy, he hates me when I call buddy, but he does the dope edits of our um, videos, posts them almost the day after, right? Sometimes
Yeah, I always
the same night.
I didn't realize you were talking about me at first. Yeah, I pretty much I post everything like the next morning. I usually wake up at like 5 a.m. and start editing because that's when our internet is the best. So,
Yeah,
um,
so shout out to you for doing that, our
yeah,
tech
no problem.
guy over here.
Yeah, sure. And then if you like kind of like '80s goth music, you can check out my YouTube page, Fat FATT Monster, and then Matt MATT, Fat Monster Matt. That's my music. It's like spooky Halloween, goth, retro music. And yeah, other than that, I hope everybody gets to watch this movie, Trick or Treat. And yeah, stay spooky, everybody. All right, Donnie, I'll see you in the morning for breakfast.
Deuces.
All right, later, guys. Bye.